I officially welcome everybody to our Exceedables community meet. And my name is Rosalind Koshi, and I am going to be the host for today. We have a speaker that comes to our community meet to grace our meet with their incredible leadership experience. And today we do have one with us. His name is Manas. He is a self learner and always had the curiosity to learn more and more about the world. At the age of playing and resting and chilling in life, Manas at the age of in his seventh grade has built an app. Okay, I think I was just chilling in life then. And ever since he has been on a roller coaster ride to explore the world of machine learning. I want Manas to come into the room and introduce yourself. Tell us more about your journey and what your incredible leadership journey has been because I cannot wait to hear from you. And yes, we welcome you with warm virtual hugs and lots of positive vibes. And we can't wait to hear from you. Please, Manas, take the lead.
Hello, everybody. Hope all of you are doing well. To begin with, I wanted to thank Sandhya ma'am for having me as a speaker. But when Sandhya ma'am reached out to me last month that I had to give a talk on leadership, I froze. I tried to think of things that I've done that make me a leader, but I couldn't find anything. I've built several apps. That's great. But is that leadership? I've learned machine learning myself and built several algorithms like this mask detector for COVID-19. But again, is that really leadership? So that's when I started thinking more deeply what exactly is leadership and who exactly is a leader. After spending some time drinking several cups of coffee, I came to the realization that all of us are leaders. And hence, today's talk is going to be based on the leader of your life, or more specifically, you being the leader of your life. But before we get into that, let's understand who a leader actually is. Put in simple terms, a leader is someone who leads. Nowhere in the definition of a leader is it said that the leader must lead someone else. You are a leader as long as you can lead your life. There are several speeches made by several great leaders, and all of them will tell you that in order to lead others, you need to first be able to lead yourself. You need to be able to lead your life, or else life will make adjustments and lead for you. Today, we have so many distractions smartphones, social media, video games, TVs, etc. In fact, it is estimated that our attention changes to a new object every 6 seconds. I'm pretty sure most of you would have checked your smartphone at least once since I started speaking. Everything in today's world is trying to grab our attention. These things want to lead our lives, but we must stop them and lead our lives ourselves. As a personal experience, let me narrate how I learned machine learning in grade 9. As many of you may know, artificial intelligence is extremely intricate and is based on maths that is taught in grade 12. In fact, most of the concepts in machine learning are not taught in schools at all. How then did I learn machine learning? The answer is simple persistence and the help of the internet. The internet is so useful yet so distracting. If used wisely, the internet can help us learn anything and help us do anything. And this is what a leader does. If you are the leader of your life, you won't let the internet control you. You will take charge of the internet and use it in a useful way. Unknowingly, the art of taking control of my life, doing things that I love, and constantly learning made me a better leader. I was able to manage my own schedule, collaborate with others, and even start a non-profit edtech initiative. But more on that later. The important point from my experience is that you must take control of your life. You can't expect your parents, friends, or teachers to take control of your life, to decide for you. You have to do it yourself. They will always be there to help you in your journey, but you must be the leader. For example, last summer, I noticed that people were not wearing their masks properly. They were not covering their noses. That's when I thought of solving this problem. Did I solve this problem myself? Obviously not. My parents helped me a lot, but I was the one who kept the project going. I had successfully built the detector and I wanted to test it out in my apartment. My parents connected me to someone who may be able to help integrate the mask detector with security cameras in the apartment. And I made sure that I followed up and I could test the detector in the security camera feed. Being the leader of your life does not happen in one day. The important idea is consistency. Imagine due to the lockdown, you've gained a lot of weight and you go to the gym for one day. You come back and look at yourself in the mirror. Do you see any change? No. So you go to the gym again the next day and again look at yourself in the mirror. Do you see any change now? Obviously not. But now repeat this process for a month and look at yourself in the mirror. You'll see a drastic change. This idea of consistency applies to being the leader of your life. You start by doing something small that benefits you. For example, just reading 20 pages of a book. You won't see any change for a few days, but after a month, you'll be surprised to see how those 20 pages a day helped you finish a 600-page book. This equation is from my experience, and if you are able to follow it every day, then you are well on the journey of becoming the leader of your life. It's a simple equation. You today should be equal to you yesterday, plus some delta knowledge or learning that you've taken from yesterday. Now, one of the questions many of you may have is, how do I find out what I want to do? Finding the what is a very traditional approach. Most people find out what they want to do, then they find out how they want to do it, and finally realize why they want to do it. Leaders, on the other hand, start off with the why. The first question is why they want to do something. If they are satisfied with the why, they move to how they want to do it. And by the time they figured out the why and the how, the what is already answered. For example, last year, I realized that a lot of underprivileged students had lost their education. They were stuck at home and were not able to attend school. This was my why. I wanted to help these students in their education. Next came the how. I realized that we have so many teachers in India who are ready to teach for free. These teachers can be school teachers, parents, grandparents, and even higher grade students. For example, a grade 11 student teaching a grade 5 student. Next came the what. I built an app where students and teachers can register and contact each other. Currently, we're expanding this idea as well. So if you're interested, do let me know, and I'll link the idea and application form in the chat as well. So far, I've spoken about how all of us should strive to be leaders of our own lives. Now, I want to talk a little more about the aspect of leading others as well. Most people usually get confused when they lead others. They think that they are the ones in the charge. The reality is that true leaders are the ones in charge of others. It's almost like being a parent. An excellent example of leaders are the officers in the Indian Army. If you speak to an army officer, you will know that they are willing to die for their fellow men. The leader is willing to sacrifice his or her life for his team, and the team is willing to sacrifice their life for the team leader. The spirit of a team can only be built when a team leader knows really how to lead. If your team does well, you usually give them all the credit. And if they mess up, you take all the blame. As Arnold Glasgow has rightly said, a good leader takes a little more than his share of blame and a little less than his share of credit. People casually say that we lead our daily lives, but I hope that after this presentation, you will understand the depth and importance of the statement and determine if you truly lead your daily life. And with that, I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and I'd love to answer any questions you may have, anything at all. So keep leading, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Manas. And that was short, crisp, to the point, and an incredible presentation. There are a few things that we would really take back, but thank you so much for sharing your incredible experience with us. And we look at you with sheer respect and are greatly inspired by your dedication towards education and the community as a whole. I do have a question which just clicked my mind for Manas. I really want to know, what like we all want to do everything in life, okay? But not it's not possible to do everything that you think about. You do have to put them into practice. And while you're doing that, you always have these certain challenges that you go through, these certain thoughts that tell you, no, you can't do it, or you're not going to be able to do it. Did you face such things, or did you have such challenges, and how did you overcome those challenges? Like, what were who were the people who helped you, or what was the process that you went through? Could you explain us a little bit?
Sure, sure. So that's a great question actually, because the way I explained it, it sounds like a streamlined journey, but that's not at all how it is. It's usually like a graph that goes up and down, up and down, up and down. The point is that life will always have the ups and downs. You'll always feel that, oh my gosh, I cannot learn this calculus in grade 9. That's how I felt. But you know that you want to reach the final goal. You know what your final goal is, and if you're really dedicated and persistent in what you want to reach and how you want to get there, then these small breaks that come into your journey are nothing. Like, you can just cross them. So what I did was made like a weekly plan as what I wanted to do by the end of the week. And every day I'd jot down small things. So like I told you, just reading 20 pages of a book. By the end of the month, you would finish reading a 600-page book. So similarly, if I had to learn calculus, I won't tell myself, finish differentiation by tomorrow. Obviously, no. So I'll say, just start off doing one video lecture on YouTube. You start very small. You start by, let's say, one video lecture on YouTube. And as you progress, you start building your confidence. And let's say you do two video lectures tomorrow, and by the time you know it, you'll be doing five video lectures every day. And at the end of the month, you've done differentiation. So it's basically that small journey, that steps that take you to the final goal. It's not like I know I have to get there, and so I'm going to do everything I can to finish it by tomorrow. So it doesn't work like that. And about the people you said who really helped me, they were mainly my parents, teachers, and friends. So they always encouraged me. Like whenever you mentioned those breakdowns and stuff like that, it was my parents and teachers. They said, Manas, you know what, you can do this. Everyone goes through this. And they obviously shared their own experience and as to how they would overcome their challenges. And that really helped me as well. And my friends as well, they played a really big part. So they would always encourage me, tell me that it's great, this stuff is working. Any critical analysis on what I've done. So that all that credit goes to my friends as well. So overall, that was how those graphs, those fluctuating graphs, got me to where I am right
So you did have like a good support system with you when you were going through this process.
now.
So
Thankfully,
I
yes.
do have one more question: is when did you start, working on this? Like you started with Seek, and you also have your own things to do, your education. You are also working on your personal passion. So how did you manage all of this, and when did you start all of this?
All right. So I actually started off in grade seven, where I wanted to build an app. So if you remember in grades, like back in those times, the TV that we had did not have Netflix, Prime Video, and all of that. So we used to have the cable TV channels and all. And so it happened so many times that my favorite movie was playing and I missed it, right? I didn't know when it was going to be premiered. So I thought, wouldn't it be great if we had an app that showed you a reminder, hey, your favorite movie is playing right now. So that was the idea that I wanted to implement into an app. But me, as a seventh grader who didn't know anything at all in coding, I started off and I was able to build a very simple number guessing game at the end of seventh grade. But still, that got me to a lot of places. And when you're talking about time management, I think that's extremely important. So, like 11th grade and all, starting Seek, working on my passion projects as well, and focusing on the 11th grade curriculum in this online situation was really tough. So what I would usually do was plan a set of things I wanted to finish off by the end of today. And you need to be very careful as what you're planning is for you. So don't make a very unrealistic list. Don't say I'm going to finish off these 5 chapters by today, and by the end of today you'll be like, oh my god, I did only one. You'll feel guilty as well. So make a very realistic list. Make a list that you would want to follow. So that's one of the main strategies I followed, making a list that I would really love to follow. And once you have that list, once you have those points, hey, I need to finish this today, then you start putting in time slots. You say, I'm going to do this job at this point in time, and the rest of the stuff just falls through daily.